Welcome to the Black Mother Wound podcast, where we center the stories of Black women as we heal from the painful relationships with our mothers. Sometimes controversial, always compelling, vulnerable, and real. We believe we can only heal the things we named, and if you didn't know, we're all in this together. I'm your host, Jennifer Arnice. Hey y'all. I want to say welcome back, but maybe I need to be saying welcome back to myself. This has been, I've had a 4-week, I was about to say I had a 4-week break because I haven't released an episode in the whole month of October, but I wouldn't say I've been on a break. So I think this week I don't have a plan. I don't have a plan of what I'm going to talk about, but I do want to talk about life and what's been going on with me and where I am and whatever else that comes up. As you can see, the set is different this week. If you're listening, you don't know this. If you're watching me on YouTube, then you do know this. I am at the Grand Bohemian Hotel. I am in my pajamas, my cheetah print pajamas, sitting on a white fluffy bed with the most amazing turquoise upholstered headboard behind me. And this is my birthday weekend. My birthday is Sunday, November 3rd. So this will come out Tuesday. So the November 5th, I think this will drop. And this was my gift to myself. It's a staycation downtown Charlotte. Well, they call it Uptown Charlotte. And I wanted to do something to commemorate me turning 50, which doesn't feel real. And I didn't want the time to pass, and I didn't really acknowledge myself. And for some reason, okay, this is where we're going. I'm already emotional. I didn't grow up with birthdays, right? And birthdays in and of themselves, you're like, well, what is it? It's to celebrate your birth. But what I realized for me is this is about just acknowledging myself, that I exist. And if you were raised like I was raised, and you probably, we might have a couple of things in common. If you didn't grow up feeling really seen, right? You know what it's like to minimize yourself because someone else is actually minimizing you. If somebody doesn't see you, they're minimizing you. And it teaches you how to minimize yourself. And that is a crime. It's a real crime. Wow, I knew all this was going to come up today. It is the most criminal thing you can do to someone. And what's even worse is when you're taught to do it to yourself. And I didn't expect this to be an emotional time. I don't even feel like I feel emotional about being 50. I feel emotional about centering myself and acknowledging myself. And which is something I teach my clients, my students, and something I practice. This is probably the biggest thing I've ever done for myself, right? Is to get a hotel for the weekend, splurge the entire weekend. Like I had spa treatments yesterday. I had one scheduled for today, but somehow the books got messed up, the calendar. So it'll be tomorrow. And just being out and about with no schedule, no expectation, no one else's desires, no one else's perspectives, no one else's wants being considered but my own. And to do it in a way that I like. I picked a hotel that I would love to stay in that reminded me of my artistic self, which reminded me of like if I was a teenager, if I was a kid, and I always have like nice things, right? This is where I would have wanted to stay. So to be able to gift that to myself on this really, a pivotal time is really important. And I don't know what you can take from that. But I guess, I talk a lot about, I hope my voice is not shaking this whole goddamn episode because I'm going to be mad. I talk about the deep heaviness of healing, right? And what it means to be raised with a mother wound and to be raised with a mother who we don't feel liked by, we don't feel loved by, we don't feel seen by. And for a while now, in a way, I've wanted to talk about something else, And I know there are people in certain places and spaces in their journey, and those conversations are needed because they've never had anyone talk about them before. But at the same time, I feel like we are centering our mother in that conversation. And I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to talk about her impact on me so much anymore because my life has changed so much. And it's not like I'm done with that. And I do feel sometimes like if I talk about all the great things in my life, how wonderful my life is now, that I'm leaving people behind because they're in a point of struggle that I'm not in right now. And it's not that I don't relate or I don't understand. But I want you to look forward. And I know how hard it is. So sometimes I feel like I baby y'all. It's like, oh, well, they're not there yet. Let's push them along. And I don't want to baby you. And I don't want to be in a space where I don't acknowledge you either, because I know what that's like. So it's like this really thin line that I feel like I'm walking with my audience and with this community. And what I really want to say is, and I know some people won't believe this, it's like not having her, as much as it hurts, as much damage as it can do and has done, it's really not all about her. You can be happy. You can be happy. You can be loved. You can love. You can have love. You can have your dreams. Like, you really can. And sometimes it feels like I don't want to make it sound like it's snap your finger, easy peasy. It's so easy. Just make a decision. I hate that type of shit where they're like, just do it. This shit takes work, right? And my active healing journey with my mother wound didn't start till I was 40. And here I am 50. It's been a decade, right? It's been a decade since we've spoken. And I hate to say it's going to take you a decade. But so what if it does? What else you got to do? You know what I'm saying? Just imagine 10 years from now what your life can be. I can't say anything is going to be easy. But I also think you have me. I didn't have me during this. Like, everything y'all are hearing and seeing and getting and experiencing and learning are like me being in the mud, right? So if you're really listening, if you're really applying the things that I'm teaching in the podcast, in the classes, in the courses, in the book, in the journal, and even in the short content on IG, right? On YouTube, if you are really applying it, you can change your life, right? That's really what I want to talk about more, is like how your life can be whatever you want it to be, and like to take you on the journey of what this is for me now, right? Because I used to feel really weighted down. I'm not crying now because I'm sad. everything, all of this emotion for me is because I'm really happy. And sometimes it's hard to share that happiness because I might be sharing it with the people who aren't happy. And that feels selfish, right? But I need you to know you can be this happy. Because I went from feeling like a rock at the bottom of the ocean, right? Just resigned there. Everything floating and living and going past me. And I feel like a rocket now. And I remember times in my life when I was young, when I felt like a rocket, when I was like, oh, anything is possible. I can do anything. And that's how I feel now. I've never been more confident, self-assured, in myself, ever. I've never believed in myself like this before. And really, I never believed in myself before, right? Like, I didn't grow up believing like deeply in myself. I knew I wanted things. I had this vision. I've always had this vision for my life, but I was like, it's going to be impossible for so many reasons, right? I'm too black, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too poor. I'm a single mother. I don't have a mama, I don't have a daddy. I got student loan debt. I got bad credit. You know, every reason why that it couldn't be me. And there were all these things that, you know, I was born with or came to have and couldn't overcome. And through healing my mother wound, right, which is really, somebody said this to me and it's true, the healing path that I've been on is not just about a mother wound. It's about any type of childhood trauma, whatever it is that cuts you off at the knees, where you don't get to fully develop and you don't get to be seen and see yourself. The impact it has on you is detrimental. And I think we live in a culture of people who have been cut off at the knees in so many different ways, right? When you walk around and you see all of us living these substandard lives and fighting for it, you know, to really think, oh, can I have more? Can I do more? Can I be more? And I know for a fact the answer is yes. And not just because I'm sitting in a hotel room for, you know, for my 50th birthday for this weekend, but because I've just seen my life change in so many ways. The fact that I'm actually going to have this podcast be heard, like I'm not gonna, old me wouldn't record. Old me, even if I did record, would be finished, delete it, no one would ever see it. But the fact is like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put it out there and I'm gonna put it on YouTube on top of that. So not only you can hear me crying, but you can see me crying. And I know this is a part of what I'm supposed to be doing, right? And I still get scared in the doing of it. But it also makes me feel really free. It makes me feel like myself. And it's like me giving myself permission to be seen, right? Because oftentimes we want to be seen, but we don't want to show ourselves. And you can't be seen if you don't show yourself. And I know how hard it is to show yourself when for so long you felt like a ghost. When you were showing yourself and the person you love most would look past you, would only acknowledge the worst or the thing that you thought was the best, they would. Thank you for watching this episode of The Black Mother Wound. I'll let you get back to it in less than 60 seconds. If you're listening to this show, then you've been struggling with the effects of the painful relationship with your mother. This is why I created Resolve. It is a 6-week group healing program for Black women who are finally ready to heal their mother wound, but need support, guidance, and a safe community to do it in. Whether you're struggling to accept your mother for who she is, trying to make peace with the past, or learning how to build a loving relationship with yourself, Resolve is the answer. Imagine making decisions that are best for you without feeling guilty. What if you could finally trust and believe in yourself and begin living your best life on your own terms? These are just a couple of the ways Resolve can change your life for the better. If you're ready to start thriving in your life now, click the link below and sign up to get notified when the class opens in August. We really are all in this together. Tear down or minimize, and it can make you feel like maybe I don't deserve to be seen, right? This has to be perfect. This has to look this way. All of these conditions have to be in order for someone to see me. And that's not really you being seen now, is it? So, I don't know where this is going. But y'all should know by now, that's how it goes. But yeah, I think let yourself be seen and start small if you have to start small, right? And I don't let myself be seen so other people can approve of me, right? It's like, oh, will you let yourself be seen? And you have a microphone and you have this and you have that. So it's okay for you. No, it's only okay for me because I decided it was okay for me. I let myself be seen as an act of approving of myself. Not so someone else would approve. And that is the practice. That is healing. If your life isn't changing, you're not healing. And I stand on that, right? And your life changes when you make different choices. And I say that, I'm going to keep saying it. And it doesn't mean it's perfect. It's just a different choice. It's a different practice. And so my practice of approving of myself as I am is the most healing thing I can do. It gives me evidence that I exist. And in evidence that I'm real, I can then walk bigger and louder and stronger in the world. My voice won't tremble as much, right? I can look at myself in the mirror and love what I see no matter what. It's been almost 20 years since I have just let my hair be like this. No, I've always some way kind of way been natural, but it's always been dyed and manipulated and something. And not saying that it won't be again, but I was just so tired of doing my fucking hair and trying to figure out what the best look was and what other people would like to see on me. Like, oh, what's the best look? If somebody saw me, what would they think if my hair was like this and like that? I was like, I don't have the time for that. Like mentally, I don't have the fucking time for it. So I was like, we'll just cut it off. Don't even color it. Just fuck it. Just be. And not giving a fuck takes work, right? Getting to a place of self-approval, right, takes practice. And no one is coming to save you. No one has the power to come and say, you're good enough. You deserve it. You're worth it. No one. You're the only person. So if I can leave you with anything, it would be that you have to start in any way making choices that acknowledge you, right? And if that is hard, It's probably hard because of the people you hang around or the types of things that you consume, whether it be TV or social media, whatever you listen to, whatever you watch. It's because of those things. And there's a level of comparison, or there's a level of trying to please others and listening to what others have to say. So the first thing you would have to do is separate yourself. You're going to have to separate yourself. It is the only way. And I will say a gift my mother gave me was the gift of being by myself and being comfortable by myself, because that's how I spent so much time as a child, that there's a freedom there, right? I had dinner last night in the hotel downstairs. And of course, I was the only one there by myself. Then I had breakfast this morning and I was the only one there by myself. And I had my journal this morning and it was so good. It was so good. And I know people who've never even had dinner alone, who would not sit at a restaurant and eat by themselves. They would get food to go, but they wouldn't sit by themselves, which to me is mind-boggling, because I've always eaten by myself, because it's like food. I have to eat. If I'm at home and I eat by myself, why wouldn't I eat at a restaurant by myself? But I digress. It's not everybody's reality. But you have to. There has to be a level of separation, because that's the only way you can have autonomy. The only way you can see yourself individually without being connected to something or someone else. Because if your life force and your existence is connected in any way to someone else, then you're going to need them. And it's going to be conditional, and it's going to be outside of you. It's going to be outside of your control. And you're always going to be playing the victim. You're always going to be hustling for worthiness, like Brene Brown says. Even if those people love you dearly, your identity cannot even be from them loving you. It's got to be from you loving you, right? So you've got to find a separation. If the things you consume and the people that you're around, if those factors make it more difficult for you to approve of yourself as you are. So that's the first thing. And nobody said it was easy, and I ain't gonna play it soft with y'all. You have to do it. I don't care. You might feel guilty. It might feel like you're disappointing people. You're letting them down. They might ask questions. It might create an uproar. It really doesn't matter. I don't really care. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be very blunt. I don't want to hear any more about how hard it is to do what you need to do for yourself. Don't email me about how hard it is. Don't DM me about how hard it is. Don't leave in the comments how hard it is. I don't give a fuck how hard it is. Because you know what's hard? Living a life on somebody else's terms. That's hard. Not being your authentic self, that shit is hard. I don't care how used to it you are, how long you've been doing it, how good you are at it. That shit is hard. I didn't come here to make it easy. I didn't come here to tell you how to find an easy way to do anything, because there's not an easy way. I didn't come to tell you a fucking shortcut. And I think I always go back and forth about how I keep this community intact and how I communicate and what I say, and not ruffling any feathers, and I don't want to sound like how my mother sounded. I don't want to sound like how your mother sounded. So sometimes I think I have watered things down. You might think, damn, if what you've been saying is watered down, I hate to see what the real is. Well, that's probably what you're going to get more of. And you're going to have to take it or fucking leave it. And I say that with all the love in the world, because I'm not fighting for you. I'm not fighting for the adult version of you. I'm fighting for the little girl in you. And she's tired of waiting. She's tired of being scared. She's tired of being put last. She's tired of being fucking ignored.
And it pisses me off that you're still doing that in any fucking way. And I gotta be brutal with you because I've had to be brutal with myself. And I'm so thankful. It's loving, but it's brutal at the same time. Because you're wasting time. You are wasting so much time. My period also started. That's what I got to tell you. My period started on my fucking 50th birthday. That's probably also why I'm so emotional too, right? On top of it. Because, whoa, this is a lot. But I don't have time to play with myself. You know, I don't have time to play. So I don't have time to play with you. And I think there will be some adjustments about what my episodes look like moving forward, what my content looks like, because there are things I want to talk about and things I want to share that aren't sad. You know, I want to show the other side of healing, right? And I want to move into other aspects of creating content and do things that are beautiful and lovely and fun and lighthearted. And it's hard because I feel like I'm leaving people behind. And I think that's been the story of my that's what I'm healing. It's this sense that I leave people behind once I grow. But you have the opportunity to come with me. And that's what I really, really want. I want you to come with me because I know you can. You know, y'all know how my story has gone. And so like you can come with me. I think that's what I want so much. Because for so long, I just didn't believe. But to look back and know like the whole time, it was possible. It's always been possible. All of it, everything. So everything that you don't believe in is still possible. And this thing of like waiting until some perfect time, perfect place, perfect you shows up, it doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist. So, like, I really implore you to do it now. Whatever it is you want to do, ugly, scared, terrified, alone, broke, start it. Even if it's, that's what I hate about social media. It's like, oh, if it's not popular, then I can't do it. If nobody else likes it, ooh, I can't make any money off of it. Like, do it for her. Do it for the little girl in you, whatever it is. Wherever you are with whatever you have, don't send me a message saying you can't do it because of this, that, or the third. Don't do it. Do not. And you know who you are. Don't send me a message telling me why you can't do it. There's something you can do. And if you can't, then there's something that has to change. And you have to decide what you're willing to do to change it. You know, what comfort are you willing to give up? Who are you willing to disappoint? What are you willing to lay aside? So, you know how I feel about that. Yeah, I think that's it for today. I wanted to do a life update. Oh my God, that's got to be a whole other episode because I don't live in Atlanta anymore. Some of you know, I bought a house outside of Charlotte in South Carolina. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Shit is wild. Shit is so fucking wild. You know, something I've been wanting to do for almost 20 years. And like not believing I can do it, not having my ducks in a row, not preparing, not doing the things that needed to be done internally and externally. And now it's like, here we are with a new house and my first time owning a house. A whole new, I ain't even gonna get into it today. let's let this be the lead in to next week's episode, because I want to share this journey with you where I am right now, because I think it's very, very, very important for where we are and where we're going, because we're going, okay? Moving on up like the Jeffersons, okay? To the east side. All right? Woo! This was emotional. I really appreciate y'all. I hope you got something out of this. I hope you could understand what I was saying through all my sniveling and snorting and crying. And I appreciate you. And I hope to be back next week. I have needed this break. I have needed, moving has felt like having a baby. I'm not fully recovered. I was able to record today because I don't have anything else to do. And I was like, this would be nice. And I felt moved to do it. But I'm working on my schedule, getting it back. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I will be back next week. I love you all dearly. And I will see you soon. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Black Mother Wound podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and make sure you comment, subscribe, and rate the show. You can keep the conversation going over on IG at Black Mother Wound, and click the link in the show notes to download the free Mother Wound Healing Guide. See you next week.